There has never been a better time for anyone to choose to recreate themselves and achieve rapid financial independence in any venture of your choosing. Doesn't matter whether it's commerce or art or music. My name is Trevor G. Blake. I am a serial entrepreneur. I have built and sold serious companies, $100 million plus companies. I've built and sold 3 since 2002, and that's not 3 out of 20 or anything like that. It's 3 out of 3. And I'm currently negotiating the sale of my 4th, which will, for me personally, be worth more than the previous 3 put together. And for all those 4 companies, I've used a unique business model that at one time was called crazy, but now is an idea whose time has come. It matches the energy and opportunity of our time. It allows the businesses to evolve and run with minimal supervision. And I've never employed another human being. I've never had an employee in any of my companies. And these are big, serious companies. For me, I also never work more than 5 hours a day. I mean, right now, typically, I work probably about 3 hours a day. Again, people say that's impossible, okay? It sounds too good to be true. It sounds like a fantasy. But it's neither of those things. It's based on the sciences of neuroanatomy and energy physics. It's based on how our brains really work and how technology, far from being the curse that many people accuse it of, it's our biggest entrepreneurial ally. There's a way to build quickly and achieve success with balance. I know successful entrepreneurs who work all day long. They work 14, 16-hour days. And there are, maybe they are successful in their businesses, but they're burned out and their private lives are a mess. That's no way to live. I believe success with balance, getting our priorities of not being like the American way of work, 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 and work, but going back to the time when our priorities were family first, spirit second, lifestyle and leisure third, and then work is the foundation, the underpinning that makes everything else possible. And I believe today it's not just possible, but it's your birthright. It's how things were prior to the start of the Industrial Revolution when everything went chaotic and haywire. In those days, believe it or not, people worked less than 4 hours a day. They were happy and balanced. Industrial Revolution changed all that, and I believe that technology and knowledge and the energy of our current time allows us to go back to a kind of village-centric life where everyone, no matter of your circumstances, no matter of your background, no matter where you live, you can make a decision today to take the equal opportunity that exists to reinvent yourself and start your own venture, but also achieve rapid financial independence. Dr. Lewis Terman was the inventor of the IQ test, but he did one of the best studies of what it takes to be successful. It was a longitudinal study, and it looked at people with genius IQs, and it was followed for decades. And at the conclusion of that, the question that they wanted to answer was, okay, what makes some people with genius IQs successful and other people who also have genius IQs not as successful by our definition of what success is? And his conclusion was remarkably simple: self-confidence and a tendency to set targets. Self-confidence comes from starting a business the right way, by using smart business skill sets. What the entrepreneur must have is self-confidence and the ability to adapt quickly to a changing business environment. And we live in a time when the business environment is changing, spinning rapidly. And you just have to go to your high street or your local mall to see what happens to those companies that don't have the ability to adapt. And they don't have the ability to adapt not because it's their fault, it's because their structure doesn't fit the needs of the time. It's the world we live in. It's a fast-paced world. Statistically, it's impossible to say how many startups there are every year. If you go to the World Bank, they say 50 million, I think it is. If you go to the Small Business Association, they say 300 million. No one knows, because most businesses don't start the right way. They start up, they don't do the things they're supposed to do that I outline in Secrets to a Successful Startup, and a lot of them fail, and 82% of failures are all down to the same single mistake. It's a total avoidable mistake. It's all about how you start right. It's about how you adapt your managerial skills and about how you set up that business plan or that business model. You don't need tons of cash. You don't need connections. You don't need a fantastic team around you. You don't need even to have a deep understanding of the market you're entering. And I'm practical proof of that. Because for all 4 companies that I've built, I'm totally unqualified to build any of them. But I have a system, I have a model, I have the processes, I understand the science. I believe that history will show that this time is definitely the best time in history, and since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, for anyone to recreate themselves, to reinvent themselves, to change themselves constantly. And I don't think anybody wants to have to explain to their grandchildren in 20, 30, 40 years' time why they chose to miss out on the opportunity. So please do yourself a big favor. Go to my website, trevorgblake.com, and download my free short course. There's no strings attached, but this will set you on the mental path of understanding what it is I'm talking about. And it's called The Practical Magic of the 5-Hour Workday. And it's not just about how to only work 5 hours a day. It's about how the business world has changed so dramatically, particularly in recent decades, and how we have to completely change our thinking and our processes and our systems and our styles to match the opportunity of the time. Otherwise we'll get left behind. And I have no intention of being left behind. And that's it. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And if you choose to also recreate yourself endlessly, then congratulations.